Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Guess what? This is recorded. You knew that. You knew that. I told you yesterday. But I don't want you to miss out on anything. It is Wise Women's Wednesday. And on Wise Women's Wednesday, wise women get together and we do our thing. So today I'm going to share with you, this is another one right out of my journal about excellence. So just food for thought. Meanwhile, Sleepies is still our supplement of the week. You can get a screaming deal on this. Listen, if you've got trouble sleeping, you just can't get to that place of vibrancy if you just feel like you've never had a good night's sleep. We have a lot of people who take this and love it. It is a proprietary blend of all the things to help calm your system, to help your brain to just calm the heck down. That's what the GABA does, by the way, because GABA, when you hear yourself gabbing away in your head, isn't that criminal? Anyway, that goes away. And then there's just a touch of valerian, a touch of melatonin, just enough of everything to just give you a nighty-night, good night's sleep every night. I swear by this. Also, you can find it, by the way, at savinglitter.com/show. Get this, it's a free bottle, If you buy 3, you get a free bottle. You'll love it. Also, our supplement of the week, our quote of the week is it's a game changer. And that is from our friend Brendan Burchard, who says, people on a path of purpose don't have a lot of time for drama. I've been talking about this all week. And I just say, boom, that's a mic drop. And that's where we want to be, is on that path of purpose. So when we find drama in our lives, I think that's imperative that we check ourselves and say, oops, is drama creeping in? Because when we're on the path for purpose, there's no drama. There could be some ups and downs. It's not going to be a smooth sailing. It's not going to be absolutely picture perfect. It's, the angels aren't going to rejoice in heaven and rose petals aren't going to be in front of you. But when you're on the path of purpose, there is absolute deliberacy in everything that it is that you're doing. And you see the difference. You feel the difference between that and just knee-jerking your way through life and just feeling, exhausted by all of it. It just doesn't work. Ask me how I know. I spent a lot of years in that path. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about how excellence then, if we're going to just get rid ourselves of this scourge of perfectionism, which a lot of us have unfortunately signed up for, and however, why ever, whatever your thing was that made you say, I know, I won't do anything unless it's perfect, which is just a huge stumbling block in any kind of pursuit of anything that it is that you want, and especially the path of purpose, right? It's not going to help you out. So if we were going to back out of that, then we need to be looking at what excellence is. Because excellence isn't perfection. It's giving your very best. It's doing your best, even in the face of things that are really hard. Even in the face of things that where you're just wavering and the hard stuff shows itself more than you really want it to show. Because excellence is a decision. But I want to also say, too, on the other hand of that, so is mediocrity. So is half-assery. And you've got half-ass over here and you've got full-hearted, full-throated, give it your all over here. Which one do you want? And that, again, is like if you listen to yesterday's show, it's about really noticing and being fully present and mindful in all the things that we do. And if we do that, then we're going to find that our excellence is born out of conviction that we've got one life to live, that we've got one path of purpose. We might have several purposes, but there's one path for it, and we're going to get there if we keep our feet on it. And it's also one thing that I would like to say is, because remember how nature abhors a vacuum, is that we exchange this notion of perfectionism for this ideal of excellence. There's an exchange. There's an exchange. And when we do things excellently, we feel good about it. We've given it our best effort. Have we always hit it absolutely right in the middle on target? No, we have not. Have we stumbled? Have we fallen? Yes, we have. But the difference between excellence and perfectionism is that perfectionism quits each and every time because it's not perfect. Excellence, on the other hand, says, okay, well, that hurt. Let's get up. Let's do it again. Because we recognize this. This is my favorite, one of our favorite mugs that I have, is that we have grit, not quit. That's what excellence is. Excellence is built on the back of grit. Excellence survives because of grit. Excellence thrives because of grit. So when we choose excellence, you know what we're choosing? Number one, we're choosing respect. Respect for ourselves, respect for others, respect for God, respect for our life, our bodies, our minds, our souls. There's a lot of respect there because excellence requires respect as well. It understands, like, you're tapped out. That's all you can do. And when you're tapped out and that's all you can do, you're still done excellently. Even if you haven't finished all the way, even if you haven't completed the task all the way, you will have another day. You'll have another opportunity. You did the best that you can. I always go back and I think about Diana Nyad in these times. It took her 4 times to get across that water so that she could make that big crossing, swimming the whole way with sharks and jellyfish and stingrays and everything else scary in the water. It took her 4 times. And there were times when she had to quit. She just had to because she was just out of gas. But in those times, in those in-between times, she learned from her experience and came back more excellently. Whether, screwed her up, some training where she learned some different things, it was always course correction. And course correction, it is emotionally, you are emotionally distraught when you have to quit or you have to give up on something. I am, but when we are in that place of respecting of ourselves and respecting of others and all the rest of it, we understand what our limitations are. And then, we correct and we keep going. Number 2, there's integrity involved with excellence because it's honest, it's upheld with strong principles and morals, it's whole, it's undivided. That's the integrity that is behind excellence. It's such a good word, isn't it? Excellence. It feels good saying it even. Yeah. I love that. And number 3 is that we're doing our best no matter what. Like Diana Nyad did. She did her best no matter what. She knows that even in the places, even in the times that she quit, that she was at least quitting on her own terms, right? She had no more left. She couldn't do it because of the weather. She had to stop because of X, Y, and Z. But she did it on her own terms, and she did her darndest. She did her very, very best. There was never a question about it. She didn't just lay on her back and say, you know what? I'm just really done with this. I'm bored. No, she went as long as she could. She gave it her all. That's all any of us can do. And that's always, always going to be excellent. Perfect would be starting it and finishing it. There you go. But it's never a straight line. It's a squiggle and it's all over the place. And it's getting up and saying, today I'm going to do better. Today I'm going to get this. Today I'm going to plan a little bit better. I heard something, this was the second time I think I've heard this. And I thought, gosh, this is such a good thing. And it's such a good good way to use your little 3x5 cards. And this was a story of, I think it was Carnegie back in the 1920s or late 1800s, some back then. And he had a consultant come in and talk to the people about, say that, he said, I need some help with my team. I need some help getting things done better. And it just seems like, we have hitches in our systems here. And so he had this guy, whoever Carnegie hired, told the guy, he said, okay, here's the deal. I am going to give you, I'm not going to charge you a dime. And after I give my system, put my system to the test and have everybody doing my system, then at the end of that, in a year, I want you to come back and pay me. So at the end of the year, he paid him, wrote him a check for $25,000. In today's world, I still think that's a lot of money, but in today's world, for, completely turning a company around and making it extraordinarily profitable, that's not a lot of money, but figure about when it was written. So it's really, that check would have been in today's money about $450,000. Okay. And do you know what it was that he had these executives doing? He had like 21 executives. Every night before they were done, they were to take a 3x5 card and make a list of 6 things in priority that they needed to get done for the next day. 6 things. That was it. And just get the very first thing that had to be completed before you started the second thing. That needed to be completed before you did the third, and on, and get those 6 things done every day. Their productivity soared. And that's because they stopped the ridiculousness of multitasking and being perfectionists. They strove for excellence. Excellence is a decision. It's always a decision. So I thought that was very interesting, starting that habit, by the way, of writing those 6 things down. Because sometimes things get put off, and you're just like, oh, I'll get to that. There are 6 things that need to get done. Let's get those 6 things done for that day, right? Isn't that cool? So the thing is that even when we're doing our very best work and everything, we get stuck on occasional, don't we? And so I want to talk to you and give you, I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. How many of these things? I've got 4 things to help you get unstuck. And I think this is important because when we are having this whole thing and we're on this path of purpose and we are recognizing places where things aren't going well, there's a stuck place. So we need to unstick. And that's exactly what these steps are. Number 1 is to start small, because the little things count. Those of you who have you take back your life journals, which, by the way, if you don't have one of these, we still have a few left. Go get it now. In this, I'll show you where I can. Here, I'll show you where I have it written. Right here. Do you see that? Wins for the day. That's what you do. You start small and you write down your wins for the day. You also can figure out what your path corrections are, because there's always a path correction that needs to happen, isn't there? But how often do we get sucked into, oh, this should have been better. I could have done this. I could have done that. And we quickly gloss over the wins that we've had for the day. Acknowledging your wins acknowledges your effort and your worthiness, and that, yes, you can do this, and your capability and your capacity to do and follow through. This is important because when we're building our excellent path to purpose, and we've made this decision to be excellent, then it's absolutely critical that we acknowledge the little things right along the way, because it's important. And that is how we get to the place of creating excellence with these little things. So that's number 1. Number 2 is self-awareness, right? It changes your perspective. It helps you to reflect. It helps you to unplug from the emotion and do a little analysis of what the heck just happened here. Why did I go so off the rails? What happened here? How can I go in and course correct on these things? It gives you an opportunity for introspection. And it also, when you're doing this yourself and you're the one who's going through and figuring it out, it somehow kind of gives you an opportunity to put a shield up against any kind of critique, because you're addressing things. You're not shying away. You're not avoiding them. You're not pretending that they don't exist. You're saying, okay, something isn't working here. Let's figure out what it is. It's an Edison moment. Remember how many times did it take Edison to invent the light bulb? Wasn't it like 2000 or something? And every time he didn't get it, he said, well, there's another way that it doesn't work. Now, had he said, oh my gosh, that's it, I'm just done, and had quit and not the grit that he had, well, he would have lost the race to electric light. So that reflection and introspection without the emotional attachment, without the critique, is terrific, because it zooms you right in onto the problem and helps you course correct in an easy and meaningful way. Number 3 is the grit, not quit. I mean, how many times am I going to show you that mug? This is what you're about. And I don't believe most of us have tapped in to that grit. That's part of everyone's DNA, every single person. You dig your heels in when it's important. If somebody was doing something to one of your children, you would dig in. You know, you're not going to just lay down and say, okay, whatever you want to do. Not at all. Because you've got grit. You're going to go to battle for your family. We're all like that. We're going to go to battle for our family. Go to battle for yourself. Go to battle for the things that are important to you. Voice up, speak up, step up, show up, because you have grit. It's time to exercise it. It's time to exercise it. Excellence always is accompanied by a deep matrix of grit. Always. Number 4 is, listen to this one. When you see something in front of you, stop running away. Stop turning around and saying, this is too hard. I'm out of here. Boom, out. Nope, not me. Out of here. You know what? You could run right through that with faith. Yes, you can. You can run right through that. There is this thing inside of us that says, gets fearful and looks at something, assesses it and says it's too big, it's too hard, it's too overwhelming, it's too everything. And the more we voice those things, the bigger the obstacle gets and the smaller we get. Do you see that? We are giving the energy and the focus to the thing instead of saying, you know what? That's hard. That is hard. Yeah, it's hard, but it's not going to hold me back. No way. No way. Watch this. And here you go. And you just push off and you go and you give it everything that you have. And before you know it, you've run right through that thing, almost in a supernatural way. You know, we have to have faith in ourselves, in our ability. We really do. Do you think when Moses lifted his hands for the red, do you think he was feeling like, you know, Ben-Hur or, you know, what's his name? The actor who did this, Charlton Heston. You know, I always think that I don't see it that way. I always think that Moses was just like, all right, God, turn it on, man. And he just had faith that it was going to happen. He just had faith. That's us. We just have to have that kind of faith. Because if God is for us, who can be against us? And if we're created in his image, the apple of his eye, fearfully and wonderfully made, here on purpose and for purpose, for heaven's sakes, stop running away. It's time to step up. It's time to step up and show up into the greatness that you are. Because you are. That's never, ever going to change. And that's what excellence is all about. We are never going to see perfection this side of glory, ever. Never. But the more we pursue excellence, the more we show up for our lives, the more vibrant we will become. And boy, oh boy, will our feet ever be squarely on the path of purpose. We won't waver. Isn't that awesome? And isn't that the way to live? I say yes. I'll drink to that. All right, Wise Women's Wednesday. Done and dusted, in the bag. Thanks so much for joining me today. Thursday, you're going to get tomorrow a best of, and then I will be back on Monday with bells on. I'll let you know how I do in the tournament. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.